Okay, it looks like ESPN's come back out with some new rankings for the 2022 season, and let's go through this now. You know my skepticism about this stuff, but let's. The other thing is, it's July, so we're going to talk about it. And this is something the ESPN came up with a long time ago, probably to get clicks and create interest and get people to talk about it. And that's what I'm going to do. Their football power index, which is not a real thing. Um, I mean, I could create something like this, but there's no point. But they basically try to get it correct here. Um, and I don't really know how you can get it wrong with the top three, which is what they've done here. They've gotten it right, is what I should say. Alabama at one, Ohio State at two, and then Georgia at three. The curious thing to me is the FPI, which is some sort of made up number. Um, they have those three schools within 2.1 points of one another, and then there's a 5 point drop to the next team, which is Clemson, and then Clemson drops another four. No, that's 5 points as well. Excuse me, DeKalb County Schools uh, going to Notre Dame. I'm not sure. I would say Clemson is 5 points better than some of these teams, but they also have Auburn at number 11. So this is my point in all of this. This is a curious thing. I will admit I don't know a lot about the ramification, the intricacies of FPI because again, it's not a real thing. I'm sorry to be that way, but it is fun to talk about. This has Ohio State as the most likely team. Excuse me, to win 12 games in the regular season at 11.8. And obviously, there's some mathematical stuff here because they have them winning 12 games and losing two, and losing one. There's only one game. There's only 12 games in the season. Um, it has Georgia as only slightly more likely to win the SEC East and Alabama to win the West. Georgia at 89.6% to Alabama's 86.7%. I would say Georgia's chance to win the East is higher than Alabama's percent chance to win the West because the West is more difficult. This also has Bama and Georgia as a basic coin flip to win the SEC with Alabama at 49.3% chance and Georgia at 47% chance. They are both similar in the ability to win the get into the playoff. At Alabama is right at 80%, Georgia at 75, and then to make the national championship game, both of Alabama's at 52%, whereas Georgia's at 45%. Winning the national championship, Alabama at 30%, and the Dogs at 24. I think coming into last season, Georgia was somewhere in the ballpark um, to win the national championship, was somewhere in that number. I don't know how you can really have anyone much higher than 30% because of the three teams at the top being problematic. And frankly, it is possible that you could say that Ohio State has the best chance to win the national championship because they don't have Alabama or Georgia in the non-playoff section of their games. Now, this FPI, it's not a real thing. It's just something to talk about. Speaking of which, make sure you're picking up Dogstruction. I have fewer of these books than I would like to have right now. So get it now before I have to order them again. I probably will have to order them by the end of this week, but you need to order now so that you get this. Why order this? Okay. Because you get our 2022 preview for free. We have gotten a lot of feedback now that folks are getting this in their hands. I sent it out the week before the 4th. I can't remember when that was. Over the last 2 weeks, and people have very much enjoyed it. You're not going to get this online, so make sure. What I mean to say is these stories are not going to be online, so make sure that you're getting this today. It gives you the ability to check in on the dogs, and it's our writing. It's not from anybody else. There's a lot of me in here. My regular job is as a writer. In the summer, that's tougher, but obviously my regular job is as a photographer at times too. We have a full breakdown of each position, um, and where the dogs are going. And just like the writing, you 100% will not see these photos anywhere else. I made a conscious effort to make sure we did not repeat photos. So make sure you're picking up our 2022 preview. We do not talk about Ohio State. We do not talk about, we do not give an in depth breakdown of Michigan. We do talk about what Georgia wants to do on the explosion front. Kirby Smart says Georgia needs more explosion from its offense if it wants to succeed in 2022. He also says it's very possible with the offense that he's got. Some images from Ryan Curley and I. Pick it up today. You get DAWGSTRUCTION, which is a great value, with the 2022 preview for free. There were some other things in here that were kind of interesting to me, at least. And I thought that showing those three schools at the top, um, FPI is not a ranking like the top 25. Like, and those are sort of beauty contests, which is fine. This is supposed to show who the best teams are. I will cut off my pinky and give it to you if Auburn is the number 11 team in the country. Now, I'm only going to cut off part of my pinky because I need the rest of it to type with. The return button is very important in our world. What's called the return button. Back in the day, just quick story. I grew up with Apple IIe when I was young. They were all in DeKalb County schools. We got them. This is not a command button. It's an open Apple button. This is not a enter button. It's a return button. Anyway, the return button is very important. Okay, everybody from DeKalb knows what I'm talking about. Anyway, I will sever a part of my finger if Auburn is a number 11 team in the country. It's not, that is not based in reality. I mean, that's not going to happen. So, um, some of this is a little bit of, Mark Schlabach's got NC State in his top 10. The FBI has NC State at number 28. And I trust Mark a lot as far as all these things are concerned. Just some others that jump out at me. South Carolina at 45. That's really low. The Gators at 29. Tennessee, which is going to be the team. Next week is media days. Tennessee is going to be the team that a lot of people talk about, and I think there's reason to talk about the Vols. FPI's got them at 25, just in front of Arkansas, another team people are talking about. Now, who would actually win that game? That would be fun to know. Arkansas has a really fun schedule because, and what I mean by that is very challenging. They have Cincinnati, South Carolina, Missouri State, Texas A&M, and Alabama. Two of those teams were in the playoff last year. All right, I don't know anybody that has two playoff teams in their first 5 games at all in college football. Arkansas is one of them, and maybe somebody from maybe that can't be South Carolina. Maybe Tennessee at some point plays Alabama and Georgia in a particular period of time. But this Arkansas program, if you want to make a move, this is a challenging schedule, y'all. Cincinnati, these are their out of conferences, okay? Cincinnati, BYU. Now they got Liberty, who is not going to be great, but I mean, this to me, this is legit. I mean, you're Missouri State bad, Liberty, not great, but you got Cincinnati in Fayetteville, and you've got BYU on the road. Okay, you can lose both those games, and I love Sam Pittman. He is great, but the Sam Pittman parade is going to end if they lose both those games. They should beat Cincinnati, USC. You can, and I've heard. Oh golly, now his name escapes me. But the guy who has a heavy hand in FPI talk about LSU and USC. He's got SC as the number 30. The FPI is SC is the number 35 team in Power Index. And his point, Bill Conley, is that we can't know what we're getting with LSU and USC. He's completely correct in that front, and I think that's challenging to kind of pencil in. There are only two Big Ten schools in the top 14, three in the top 15. That's it, which are Ohio State and Michigan, and then Michigan State. I don't know, but I do like this. I'm probably going to return to this topic of conversation in the near future. Make sure you're picking up DAWGSTRUCTION. You do not want to miss out on it. It's a great value because you're getting your 2022 preview for free. Thanks for everybody watching these. We really appreciate it.